Minister for Industry, Commerce, Shri Piyush Goyal, DGFT Amit Yadav ji, Secretary Darpan Jain ji, and members of SCPC, members of CGC, staff of SCPC, and all of you today. May I first welcome the Minister to this first Global Services Conclave, the first of many more to come. My thoughts go back 2 years ago. I think we had a function at the Leela Hotel in New Delhi when I first took over as chairman of SCPC, and Minister Goyal was there. Many words of encouragement and the hope that in the 2 years that I would have as chairman of SCPC, I would be able to make a little difference in the organization and on the focus of services and services exports. I must also thank Mr. Yadav for his words this morning, wherein he encapsulated the efforts that have been made by SCPC to focus on services exports. Even during the pandemic, we managed to create human and physical infrastructure for the organization, which was so important for growth. We created a contemporary identity for SCPC, as evidenced, as you can see, from the portal, the films, the advertisements which we have released. And I, coming from also a background of journalism and marketing, believe that creating a brand is just so important. We created an information connect with our members through regular newsletters, communications, webinars, masterclass series. We connected internationally with ambassadors, with our missions abroad. More important, I think, was our advocacy for SEIS benefits and the overall focus on service exports. We have also secured insurance coverage for services through ECGC for the first time, and the schemes will be explained later in the afternoon. What we could not do because of the pandemic is promote physical interaction like this program, both in terms of our IPs like NTEC, India Heals, and GES, and also take our members to international events. As I lay office, I do so with a certain satisfaction, but also with the thought that there is much more to be done. We have the minister, the ministry, we at SCPC have approached this with a singular passion and with an aim and objective. We are all motivated by one factor: the overall growth of our economy, contributing to the well-being of our people by creating employment, more opportunities, and a better life for them. We may or may not reach $1 trillion, though we will make all efforts to do so. But as the minister was pointing out, that 7% CAGR is not very exciting. And I promise him that we must try and grow at least double at 15% CAGR, which we are achieving in this year, 21-22. In all our interactions, and the minister has, as Mr. Yadav said, that there were 28 EPCs in the manufacturing and commodities sector, and one in the services sector. And the minister has often said that services have really not made any demands on the government, on the ministry, and has grown in its own manner without much support from the government, and that the service industry is much better off without government intervention. To a certain extent, I do agree. But all of us need recognition, need some encouragement. And it has been my endeavor, again, as Mr. Yadav has pointed out, to try and ensure that there is some parity in perception as far as services and as far as merchandise and manufacturing exports are concerned. We are certainly not asking for much, but if some incentives were to be given, there is so much more that one can accomplish. It is not just the people who are already in the services export sector, but it is the entrepreneurs who may decide in the future what role they should have, what path that they should follow, that government encouragement would certainly help them to decide and would certainly help in the growth of our services exports. We did advocate long for SEIS. In fact, we proposed that there be a cap so that the MSME sector, the smaller marginal players, companies benefit. And we are glad that that was passed. But excluding certain sectors, which we had requested that not be done, has also hurt quite a few of our members. And we must realize that in every sector, there are big players and there are small players. And just because some big players, a few big players, do not need help, do not need sustenance, the rest of those in that field, they should not suffer because of that. The incentive should be available to them. Going forward, we have incentives for 1920. We will have to work hard for 2021. But, and I agree, that we cannot live and survive on incentives alone. That we must find a way of being competitive and of growing on our own strengths. Having said this, if you have given 2,000 crores as an SEIS incentive for 1920, another couple of 100 crores, and including all sectors, would not have hurt. There are other issues also where the perception of services, and this is very important, the perception of services, because of the way that our champions in the ITES have performed beyond all expectations and in an absolutely international fora, the perception is of services of being ITES mainly, whereas they contribute about 50%. And this conclave is about finding ways of how the other sectors can contribute once the ITES reaches a plateau. And there are three sectors: hospitality, which are hotels; education, which are universities; and medical tourism, which are hospitals. They have physical infrastructure. Just as you are providing incentives like your PLI schemes for the manufacturing sector, the productivity linked incentive scheme for the manufacturing sector, In the same manner, you can provide a similar scheme for people who are not asset light, who have to create physical assets, who have to spend on capex, to create world-class institutions. And your assistance will help to create these world-class institutions. The same way you provide tax incentives to services in the greenfield sectors, to manufacturing in the greenfield manufacturing. There is no reason why a new hotel, a new hospital, a new university cannot avail of the same benefits that is given to manufacturing. Let us understand that the reputation of India is not as a manufacturing hub. It is that of a service provider to the world. It is not just the service exporter from this country who is creating this reputation of intellectual capabilities and capacity. It is every single doctor, professor, teacher, nurse, professional, lawyer, Indian diaspora around the world that has contributed to creating the image of India as an intellectual powerhouse. The last suggestion I have is to create an organization called Trade India with offices in all our important international embassies and missions, whose only purpose is to ensure that there is enough information about opportunities available in those countries. There is enough information about the capabilities of Indian professionals to be able to serve in those countries. And to create this, it would not cost much, but it would provide a focus to our efforts to increase exports, both services and manufacturing. Once again, I take this opportunity to thank the minister, who has been extremely encouraging. His doors have always been open. I thank the Commerce Ministry, the Commerce Secretary, the DGFT, who have patiently, over all these months, kept on hearing my singular complaint. They have indulged me with great patience. I thank them. I thank all the members of SEPC. I thank the staff of SEPC for all the cooperation that they have given me. And I hope to, if the new dispensation does allow me, to continue to make my small contribution to SEPC and to the overall cause of services exports. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you so much. And now for the moment that we've all been eagerly waiting for, may I request Honorable Minister to kindly deliver his address.